Welcome to 8.3. Today we're going to talk box and whisker plots. So here's an example of a box and whisker plot. It is called that because we have a box right here, and on each side of the box we have what we would call a whisker coming out of it. So we've got the box in the middle and then a whisker coming out of each side. So the 5-number summary gives us our box and whisker plot. As you can see, this number to the far left, that's our minimum. The left side of the box is our Q1 value. The middle line in the box is our median. The right side of the box is our Q3. And then the far right whisker, that's our max value. Okay, so the min is the left whisker, Q1 is the left side of the box, median is inside the box, Q3 is the right side of the box, and then the max is the right whisker. To find the values of each one, you'll notice that they line up above a number line. So if we trace straight down, we should be able to find exactly where each value is. So we're going to start by reading a box and whisker plot. So given the box and whisker plot below, we're going to find the 5-number summary. So remember, from left to right, it goes min, Q1, Q2, Q3, and max. Okay, and for each one, we go from the point in the box and whisker straight down to find the values of each. Okay, so if you'll notice, the minimum is directly above 16. Q1 is directly above 18. Q2 is directly above 22. Q3 is 26. And max is 28. So again, you draw a line straight down to the number line below it to find the value of each of the 5-number summary. Got another example here. We've got this box and whisker plot. Again, remember which goes where. We've got our minimum first, Q1, Q2, Q3, and max. You'll notice that they're not counting every line, but we know that they're counting by ones because I go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that'll count throughout all the way to 20. So from my min value, I go straight down. My quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, and my max. So for my min, it goes straight down to 3. For my quartile 1, okay, this is going to be where I have to kind of guess a little bit. It's not directly in between 5 and 6. It looks like it's a little closer to 6, so I might say that this is 5.75. Quartile 2 looks like it's more in between 8 and 9, so I could say that it is about 8.5. Quartile 3 falls right to 11, and my max goes to 18. Okay, so when it falls in between, it does kind of turn into a guessing game. Just try to do it as best you can and find a number as close as you can to where it is. And another example here, we've got our box and whisker plot, and we're going to find our 5-number summary. Again, starting from left to right, my min, my Q1, my Q2, Q3, and max. And from each one, draw a line straight down to the number line. You'll notice my min here falls to 3. My Q1 goes down to 6. My Q2 goes down to 11. My Q3 goes down to 15. And my max falls down to 20. So I go 3, 6, 11, 15, and 20 for my 5-number summary in this box and whisker plot. Go ahead and pause the video, do this last one on your own, and then hit play and see how you did. For this one, you should have gotten that the min is 52, the Q1 is 54, Q2 is 56, Q3 is 63, and our max is 77. The other thing we're going to be doing is comparing box and whisker plots. So we're going to have something like what's down here on the bottom, where we have 2 box and whisker plots on the same number line, and we're going to be comparing the corresponding parts of our 5-number summary. So to start out with, I want to label everything in each one. So I got my min, my quartile 1, my quartile 2, quartile 3, and max for the top one. My min, my quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, and my max. And they're going to ask us to compare them and go higher, lower, bigger, smaller, larger, whatever. And we just need to figure out which one it's true for. So for this first question, which one's got a higher quartile 2 value? Well, if you look here, for this first period, my quartile 2 sits at 80. For second period, my quartile 2 sits at 85. Well, 85 is bigger than 80. So for the one that's got the higher quartile 2, that's second period, because it's got a larger value for it. Larger and higher mean the same thing. For our next one, which one's got the lower max? So if I look at the max values, I've got a max here at about 97.5 and a max here at 95. Which one's got the lower of the two? Well, again, second period's got a smaller value. Okay. Bigger quartile 1. If we look at the quartile 1s, the quartile 1 here is at 75. This one is at 80. Once again, second period has a larger quartile 1 value. What about a smaller quartile 1? Smaller quartile 1, we're still comparing 75 to 80. So this time, I would say first period. Okay, so basically you just need to figure out which one of the 5 number summary you're comparing in each one, and whether they want a larger number or a smaller number. We've got another example here of 2 box and whisker plots. We've got group A on top, group B on bottom, so we'll just use A and B. For the first question, they want to know which one's got the bigger minimum. Minimum for A is here, minimum for B is there. And notice A's got it about 5, B is probably about 7.5 or 8. So the bigger one is going to be for group B. Smaller quartile 2 value. Quartile 2 is the middle of the box. So here's quartile 2 for B. Here's quartile 2 for A. We want to know which one's smaller, which one's farther to the left. And that one is going to be B. Which one's got the larger quartile 3? Well, quartile 3 is the right side of the box. So for group A, it's right here at 55. For group B, it's right here, probably about 58 or 59. Group B has got a larger Q3. A lower min. Okay, so now we're looking for the lower min. We go back to looking here. Okay. Lower, we're looking for the one to the farther left, and that belongs to group A. And finally, which one's got a higher Q1 value? So Q1 is here for A and here for B. For higher, we're looking for the one that's farther right, and that's going to be group B, has the higher min value, or higher Q1 value. Now we're going to be comparing bookstore prices. We've got bookstore A versus bookstore B. Our first question is we're looking for the higher max. Okay, so higher means we're looking farther to the right. So here's the max for A, here's the max for B. B is farther to the right, so it's going to have the higher max. For lower Q2, lower means left. So Q2 is the middle line of the box. So here's the Q2 for B, here's the Q2 for A. We're looking for which one's farther left, and that is B. Bigger Q1 value. So now we're looking at the left side of the box. Here's Q1 for B, here's Q1 for A. Bigger means right. So which one's farther right? That's going to be bookstore A. Larger Q3 value. So I'm marking the Q3s. Here's Q3 for A, here's Q3 for B. Larger means to the right, which means bookstore B is going to have our larger Q3 value. Smaller min. So here's the min for B, here's the min for A. Smaller means farther to the left, so that's going to be bookstore B. B has a one farther to the left. So again, higher, larger, bigger, that all means which one's farther to the right. Lower or smaller means which one's to the left. Okay. Another pair of box and whisker plots, we'll just label them as A and B. Okay, so now we want smaller max. So if we look at the maxes, here's the max for A, here's the max for B. Smaller means left. Which one's farther left? That one's B. Larger Q3 values. The Q3 is to the right side of the box, so here's Q3 for B, here's Q3 for A. Larger means which one's farther to the right, and that is box and whisker plot A. Lower Q2 value. So Q2 is the middle line. Here's the Q2 for A, here's Q2 for B. Lower means left. So which one's farther left? That's going to be A. Bigger Q1 value. So I mark the two Q1s. Here's Q1 for A, here's Q1 for B. Bigger means which one's farther to the right. So that's going to give us an answer of A, because A has a Q1 value farther to the right than B. The minimums. Here's the minimum for B, here's the minimum for A. Higher means which one's farther to the right. Now they're pretty close, but if you look close enough, A is going to have the one that's farther to the right. It's a difference between probably 10 and 11, but A is still a little bit bigger of a min than B. Go ahead and pause the video, do these last 4 on your own, and then hit play and see how you did. So to start out with, I labeled the two box and whisker plots as S and C, because we got Scarlett's class and then the other class. Probably should have labeled it as P, but it doesn't really matter at this point. The higher min. Higher means which min is farther to the right. The mins are labeled with the red lines. Farther to right one is in S, or Miss Scarlett's class. In blue, we're looking for the lower Q1 value, so I've labeled the two Q1s in blue. Lower means which one's farther to the left, and that's going to be box and whisker plot C, so Miss Plum's class. Green has the bigger Q2 value, so I've labeled both of the Q2s in green. Bigger means which one's farther to the right, which again is going to be Miss Plum's class, so C. And then finally in yellow, we've got the smaller Q3 values. The Q3s are both labeled in yellow. Smaller means which one's farther to the left. So in this case, our answer is going to be S, Miss Scarlett's class. So again, when we're comparing the two, if they're giving you words higher, bigger, or anything like that where it means more, we're looking for which one's farther to the right. If you're given smaller, lower, or anything that means less, we're looking for ones to the left. Okay, so bigger means right, smaller means left.